I can see the lights. Those were the last known words Brandon Swanson ever said. Spoken through a cell phone to his worried father in the middle of the night. Those words were meant to bring comfort. They were meant to say, "I'm close." But instead, they became a haunting epitaph, a whisper into the void. Because Brandon was never seen again. In May of 2008, a bright, college-bound teenager disappeared without a trace in rural Minnesota. No body, no belongings, just the sound of a call, a fall, and silence. What happened to Brandon that night? Did he simply fall victim to the wilderness, or was someone, or something, waiting in the dark? This is the chilling story of Brandon Swanson, and the eerie last words that still echo through the cornfields. May 13th, 2008. It was the tail end of spring in Marshall, Minnesota. The air was crisp, the skies were clear, and 19-year-old Brandon Swanson had just wrapped up a small gathering with friends. Nothing unusual. No red flags. Just another night celebrating the end of a college semester. Brandon was a typical teenager, smart, motivated, a bit introverted but deeply kind. He was studying wind energy at Minnesota West Community and Technical College, excited about his future. After leaving the small party in Canby around midnight, Brandon began driving home to Marshall. It should have been a 30-minute trip. Instead, it would lead to one of the most disturbing and baffling missing persons cases in American history. At around 1:15 a.m., Brandon's car went off the road near a ditch. He wasn't injured. His voice was calm when he called his parents for help. He told them he'd accidentally driven into a ditch and needed a ride. It seemed simple. Pick him up, take him home, laugh about it in the morning. But as they tried to find him, a strange problem emerged. He wasn't where he said he was. Brandon thought he was near Lind, a small town close to Marshall. But when his parents arrived, there was no sign of him. The eerie thing? He insisted he could see them. "I can see the lights," he told them. "Just keep flashing your headlights." But they did, and he never showed up. Brandon Swanson was not the kind of teen to panic under pressure. And on the early morning of May 14th, 2008, his voice reflected just that. Steady, calm, rational. After his car slid into a ditch on a back road, he didn't call 911. He called his parents. At 1:54 a.m., Brandon reached out to his dad, Brian Swanson. "I need a ride," he explained. His car had gone off the road, but he was fine. No injuries, no car damage. He just needed help getting home. He believed he was near the town of Lind, about 7 miles from Marshall. His parents, Brian and Annette Swanson, got into their truck and drove to the area he described, flashing their headlights and calling out into the night. But Brandon couldn't see them, nor could they see him. Yet he kept saying, "I can see the lights. I'm right near you. Keep flashing your lights." The dissonance was unnerving. They weren't in the same place, despite Brandon's certainty. So, he made a decision. "I'm going to walk toward Lind," he told them. He began describing his surroundings, a gravel road, fields, the occasional fence line. Annette and Brian stayed on the line with him the entire time. Then came the strangest part. Over the course of 47 minutes, Brandon walked and talked, describing where he thought he was going. He didn't sound lost. He didn't sound afraid. But then, all at once, things changed. Suddenly, Brandon interrupted himself. "Oh, S***T. A loud sound, possibly a slip, a fall, or something more, crackled through the phone. And then, silence. The call didn't drop. It stayed connected. But Brandon never spoke again. Imagine sitting in a car, clutching a cell phone, listening to the void where your son's voice used to be. For Brian and Annette, those were the longest moments of their lives. They continued calling his name. No response. They stayed on the line until it finally went dead. Panic took over. They began searching the area themselves, but found nothing. No lights. No sign of movement. Not even the sound of footsteps in the gravel. At 6:30 a.m., they called the police. But the response they received was disheartening and disturbingly common in missing person cases involving adults. "It's his right to be missing," one officer told them. It would be another full day before authorities took the case seriously. When police finally joined the search, Brandon's abandoned Chevy Lumina was located, but not near Lind, as Brandon had believed. Instead, it was in a completely different location, near the town of Taunton, over 25 miles away from where he claimed to be. This immediately raised chilling questions. Why was Brandon so sure he was in Lind? Was he disoriented, or was someone misleading him? How could a 19-year-old who knew the area so well be so wrong? What seemed like a straightforward accident quickly unraveled into something far more sinister. Search dogs were brought in. The trail they picked up painted a haunting picture. Brandon had left his car and walked along the gravel road. His scent followed a path that led into fields, past fences, through a wooded area, and all the way to the edge of the Yellow Medicine River. There, the trail stopped. It looked like he had entered the river. But divers found no body, no clothing, no clues. Even more confusing, the scent picked up again, on the other side of the river. It appeared Brandon had somehow crossed the river and kept walking. But if he had made it across, what then? Why had he screamed? Why had he never answered his parents' calls again? The mystery deepened. Despite multiple search efforts, on foot, by air, with boats and dogs, nothing ever turned up. No cell phone, no keys, no clothing, no remains. Over the years, hundreds of volunteers scoured the area. Cadaver dogs occasionally signaled interest in specific spots, but nothing was recovered. As the seasons changed and the fields were harvested, the landscape itself changed, erasing potential clues. Some speculated he had fallen into the river and drowned. Others pointed to hypothermia or a wild animal attack. But none of these theories explained the fact that his trail continued after the river. So, where did Brandon Swanson go? And more disturbingly, was someone else out there with him that night? Brandon's calm demeanor during the call doesn't align with someone lost or being chased. He never once expressed fear, until his final expletive. That moment, S***T, has been dissected endlessly. Did he fall? Did he see someone? Did someone grab him? Was he startled by an animal, or a person? No one knows. And with no body, no physical evidence, and no witnesses, we may never know. What we do know is this: Brandon was there, and then he wasn't. And the last thing he said, "I can see the lights," still echoes like a ghost in the darkness. Did Brandon meet foul play? Exploring theories including abduction, misadventure, and cover-ups. I can see the lights. The haunting disappearance of Brandon Swanson. Brandon Swanson's disappearance is one of those rare cases that seems to resist explanation. Each answer only births more questions. While many believe it was a tragic accident, others think something far darker occurred. Let's explore the major theories surrounding what happened that night, each chilling in its own right. It was early May, but nights in rural Minnesota can be brutally cold. With the last known time of contact around 2:30 a.m., Brandon was exposed to the elements for hours. Could he have succumbed to hypothermia? This is one of the most accepted theories by law enforcement. His trail crossed fields, fences, and a river, possibly more than once. Wet clothes, cold air, and isolation may have taken a toll on his body. But even in hypothermia cases, some physical trace is usually found: shoes, clothing, remains. In this case, nothing. That absence of evidence haunts this theory. The Yellow Medicine River is shallow in parts but can be fast-moving and deceptively strong. Some suggest Brandon may have slipped and drowned, swept away by a current. Again, the search teams, especially the dogs, dispute this. Brandon's scent picked up after the river, meaning he crossed it. If he drowned, how could the scent resume on the opposite bank? This theory also fails to explain the abruptness of the final moment. There's no struggling sound, just one expletive, a noise, and then silence. Drowning is rarely that quiet. Now comes the darkest theory, that Brandon didn't disappear by accident at all, but that someone else was involved. What if Brandon wasn't alone out there? He encountered someone, perhaps a stranger on a remote road, or someone followed him after his car got stuck. The road where Brandon's car was found is isolated, but not unused. Farmers, night workers, or even a passerby could have crossed his path. Could a local predator have stumbled upon an easy victim? Some speculate Brandon might have flagged down a ride from the wrong person, or that he was attacked after crossing the river. That final S***T may not have been about a fall. It might have been a last-second warning. No evidence of foul play has ever been found. But then again, no evidence at all has been found. That fact alone keeps this theory alive. One of the most disturbing yet plausible theories suggests an accidental death, followed by a cover-up. Imagine this: a farmer or local resident comes upon Brandon. A confrontation happens. Maybe it's a misunderstanding. Maybe someone's drunk. Things escalate. Brandon is injured or killed, accidentally or otherwise. Fearful of the consequences, the person hides his body, cleans the area, burns his clothing. Bury the evidence. Rural Minnesota is vast. Acres of farmland, private property, sheds, wells, and old barns dot the landscape. It would be very easy to conceal something, permanently. Police have never identified any persons of interest in this case. But they've also never ruled out foul play. In fact, some investigators privately believe someone in the area knows more than they've ever said. Annette and Brandon Swanson never gave up. From the moment Brandon vanished, they became tireless advocates, not just for their son, but for the thousands of missing adults whose cases go ignored every year. They organized search parties. They spoke to media. They pushed legislation. And they never stopped searching. Annette has said in interviews that she can still hear Brandon's voice. That call haunts her. Not just the end, but the beginning. The normalcy, the familiarity. He was just trying to get home. Those 47 minutes with Brandon were the last moments they ever had with their son. No goodbyes, no resolution, just a terrible silence. Out of their tragedy came change. In 2009, Minnesota passed Brandon's Law, a groundbreaking piece of legislation that requires law enforcement to take immediate action when an adult is reported missing under suspicious or concerning circumstances. Before Brandon's Law, adults were often dismissed with the line, "They have the right to disappear." Now, police are obligated to act, because sometimes, just wandering off isn't just that. Brandon's legacy now lives on in the protections he helped create, though tragically, is not here to see it. Calendar year after year, still nothing. Every year, new search parties set out. Drones, cadaver dogs, river divers, volunteers. Every year, they come back with empty hands. The Swansons have come to terms with the likelihood that Brandon is no longer alive. But they want one thing, to bring him home. To this day, Brandon is classified as missing, not deceased. Because hope, no matter how painful, is sometimes all a parent has left. I can see the lights. What did Brandon really see that night? That phrase has haunted investigators and amateur sleuths for over a decade. Some believe he truly saw the lights of Lind. Others believe he saw his parents' truck in the distance. Others speculate he may have seen something else entirely, something we'll never understand. And then, that final moment. Oh, S***T. The raw terror in that exclamation, so unlike the rest of the call, shatters the calm. Was it his final realization? Did he see danger in that moment? Or was he just startled? We don't know. But what we do know is this. That sentence changed the Swanson family's life forever. It marked the exact moment the world lost Brandon. It's become a chilling reminder of how fragile life can be. Brandon's cell phone pinged off a tower near Taunton, the area where his car was later found. But technology in 2008 wasn't what it is now. GPS tracking wasn't precise, and by the time authorities traced the signal, it was too late. His phone has never been recovered. Neither has his wallet, nor his keys, nor his glasses. He vanished as if erased. There are thousands of missing person cases in the US, but very few are like this. No evidence of struggle, no proof of crime, no body, no leads, only a voice in the dark, calmly guiding his parents, assuring them, believing he'd be rescued. And then, silence. Brandon's disappearance touches something primal in us all, a fear of vanishing, of losing a loved one in a blink, of watching someone fade into the night and never return. It's the kind of mystery that keeps you awake at night, because you can't stop wondering, what happened after that call? If you or anyone you know has information regarding the disappearance of Brandon Swanson, please contact the Leon County Sheriff's Office at 507-537-7666. Even the smallest detail could help bring closure to a family who's been waiting far too long. Let's keep Brandon's story alive. Share this video. Spread awareness. Help us bring him home. And if you believe stories like this matter, please like, comment, and subscribe to True Crime Hub. We'll continue uncovering the cases that deserve answers, and giving a voice to those who can no longer speak for themselves. In the end, we are left with a few final words. I can see the lights. And that terrible question. Where did Brandon Swanson go?